What the? PNP prohibits public display of affection to curb COVID-19 surge. Is this serious? Hindi nga. Seryoso? Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing fine. Welcome back to the channel. This is the House of Law and I'm Attorney Aljumrani. So have you subscribed yet? No, not yet? Well, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe and click that notification bell so that you will be notified in case I upload a new video. And speaking of videos, I hope you've been watching my videos para sa karagdagang kaalaman tungkol sa batas at sa mga usaping legal. So, eto na nga. In today's news, it was reported that the Philippine National Police is prohibiting public display of affection or PDA in an effort to control the rising number of COVID-19 cases in the Philippines. Ano ba itong PDA or public display of affection? So, I did my research online and this is what I found. From www.urbandictionary.com, a public display of affection happens when two people publicly have any kind of sexual touching, like BJ, HJ, or kissing. Clearly, PDA is the doing in public of an act that is supposed to be done in private. Now, whether an audience is intended or not, PDA is a public expression of one's love and affection to another. Now, let's go back to that PNP crackdown against PDA. Crackdown. Now, that sounds like a new kind of tokhang, but this time, a tokhang against PDA. Anyway, so as reported by CNN Philippines, the police will call out couples, close friends, and family members who are seen showing different acts of physical intimacy, including holding hands, kissing, and embracing each other in public. Ang sabi sa news, lalapitan ng mga pulis to mga tao at pagsasabihan na hindi pwede yan. Wala daw aarestuhin. Wala pa talagang aarestuhin? E paano kung hindi sumunod? So, aarestuhin na for disobedience or resistance to a person in authority. Diba? So, allegedly, the reason for this prohibition is COVID-19. But I am not comfortable with this directive or this policy. But don't get me wrong, I am not against anti-COVID measures. We all want this to end. But then just because the objective is good, it doesn't always justify the means. Diba? So both the means and objective must be good and must be lawful. Now, why do I say that this directive is questionable? Well, what is inherently wrong in this measure is that it doesn't meet two important tests. First is the Reasonableness Test, and second is the Void-for-Vagueness Test. So under the Reasonableness Test, the law or measure must reasonably be necessary for the accomplishment of some lawful purpose. So in this case of the crackdown against PDA, there is a disconnect between the purpose and the means to achieve that purpose. I mean, the purpose is to control the rising number of COVID-19 cases in the Philippines. At anong napag-isipan nila? They thought of arresting or reprimanding people for their public display of affection. When you stop people from expressing their love and affection for each other in public, will that stop the coronavirus? I mean, these are couples, these are members of the same household, or if not members of the same household, they are most probably together many times a week or many times in a month. So if you stop them from doing intimate stuff, will that stop the spread of the coronavirus? Is coronavirus transmitted through love and affection? Of course, that's just a idiomatic question. But I remember last year, in the early weeks of the worldwide lockdown, doctors still recommended that there are ways to express one's love and affection and physical intimacy in the time of the coronavirus. Wearing of masks and avoiding doing some acts to certain body parts were some of the recommendations. So, next problem is that this measure is vague. Under the Void-for-Vagueness Doctrine, a law is invalid if men of common intelligence must necessarily guess as to its meaning and differ as to its application. If the PNP is to seriously crack down on PDA, what acts will be deemed PDA? Holding hands, PDA na. Embracing, PDA na. Paano kung wala namang sexual or lascivious connotation? Hence, hindi siya public display of affection kasi hindi nga naman siya affection. So see, the problem here is that there are no clear standards. And do you know what happens when there are no clear standards to be followed or observed by police officers? Abuse of power. Need I say more? Clearly, the problem here, with all due respect, is that the police is now becoming the new policy makers. And we get it. The police is just trying its best to help control the problem. And this is the rising number of COVID-19 cases. Madami nga namang pasaway. But then, leave the policy making to policy makers and leave lawmaking to lawmakers. Kasi nagugulo na ang mga batas at mga panuntunan. What the PNP should have reiterated is that people should strictly observe physical distancing in public. Huwag niyo na pakialaman ang PDA kasi may batas na tayo dyan. Traditionally, the laws against public display of affection are meant to protect public morals and public decency, and not for the purpose of controlling the spread of some virus. Depending on the culture and norms of the place, the doing of intimate acts in public can be considered as public scandal or, in our case, grave scandal. Yes, under the Philippine law, a sexual or lascivious act done in public is punishable as grave scandal under Article 200 of the Revised Penal Code. So, advice to the PNP, use Article 200 of the Revised Penal Code if you want to crack down on PDA. Galit ka sa PDA, pues gamitin mo yung batas on public decency. Pero kung COVID-19 ang basis mo, then crack down on close personal gatherings because wala nang social or physical distancing doon. Yun ang habulin nyo, wag na yung PDA. Kasi nga hindi connect, walang connect. Okay? So there, that's just my piece of advice. And we're all here to help one another. So that's it for now. I hope you learned something today. I'll see you in the next video. Laging tatandaan, isip ay buksan, alamin ang batas.